What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. In today's episode, I sit down with a gentleman who owns a painting business and a paint retail store. That's right. He owns the business to paint and he owns the business to supply. Awesome, unbelievable business model. Can't wait to share this episode with you guys on the Contractor Secrets Podcast. The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right, they're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener, it's so much better, and that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets Podcast. All right. What is going on, everyone? Oh, real quick. Sorry, before I start. What is the name of your painting company?
Kessa Painting.
Kessa. K-A-S-A, right?
K-E-S-A.
Hey, Kessa. Okay.
Kessa.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Okay. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. I'm here with Luke Vanden Bosch with Kessa Painting. Awesome guy, even more awesome of a story that we're going to unfold today. But real quick, man, just Luke, welcome to the show, man. Happy to have you here.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. So let's start off with this. Okay. I'm just going to get the elephant out of the room. Okay. You and I did a demo of Dripjobs. First time we chatted and kind of just got to know a little bit about your story. You said something that was super intriguing to me. You own a painting business. Okay.
Yes.
Of course, that's intriguing. But
Yeah.
the other side of the coin is that you said that you actually own a paint distributor, which is a paint store.
Yes.
And that to me is pretty cool. So not only do you produce the painting, you also supply the paint internally, man. And I think that's just such an awesome system. And I'd love to hear about that. And I think the listeners, of course, would love to. So let's talk about it, man. Why don't you break the ice here and tell me a little bit about the system you have going?
Yeah. So basically how it's working today, how it's working right now is I've got 12 painters painting right now. We run them in crews of twos. So we have what we call a painter, and then what we have a crew leader. Each crew has their own company vehicle. I run them on QuickBooks time. And basically we place them wherever they need to go. New builds, interior. I have one exterior crew that runs every summer. We're a little bit different than you. We've got the good Canadian winters up here, so we can't do any exteriors, probably 2/3 of the year, depending on how things are. But yeah, so we usually run 6 crews. Last year I had 8, was a little bit too much. But yeah, all our paint, all our sundries go through the one paint store that we have now, which we're a Dulux store technically. But we can offer other products too, but we're pretty well tied to Dulux.
Wow, incredible. So tell me really where the idea came from.
So we're in a bit of an interesting spot geographically where we are here. We're about halfway between Toronto and Ottawa. So we're out in the boonies, but we have like our small town that we live in here is 45,000 people. And then we've got, but the larger area of all the other small towns kind of around is somewhere in the range of 250, 300,000 people. So there's a lot of people around, but the few little small towns that are here kind of collect everything in from the outside edges. So we have a corporate store in the main town in this area called Belleville. There's a corporate store there. Our shop that we opened in 2016 just for the painting company is in Trenton, which is a 20,000 person town, about 15 minutes away from Belleville. We were getting really frustrated at that time driving 20 minutes to go get, the guys forgot a gallon of this color or whatever, right?
Yeah,
so it was like we were looking at it and looking at the area, and there was two real small, what would be paint stores, decorator stores kind of thing,
Right.
do blinds, do wallpaper, do basically everything under the sun. And we
Right.
said, you know what? Our town needs a paint store, like a legitimate contractors can go to, as well as the general public, that you walk in and it's just paint. It's not everything else.
Just
So
paint.
yeah, just paint, right? Paint and sundries, that kind of thing for
Right.
people who are painting. And that was in 2017, 2018 that we rolled that out, signed up with Dulux. It was, what was it, something like $50,000 to start up with them and roll out the first purchase kind of thing. But yeah, it's been a smashing success.
Unbelievable. So you're looking at this problem really as not only just a solution, really in terms of cost, but really just, I mean, in terms of logistics, right? Because all
Yep.
of us as painting contractors, we know sometimes you got to run to the paint store, man. Actually, more often than not, you got to run to the paint store. And you're looking at this like, man, like I'm tired of having to figure out, how to get my guys there. It's taking way too long. And you created the solution, man. I think that's amazing. And you and I talked, yesterday or the other day, and you're actually saying that the growth of this paint store has been so good that's actually surpassing the growth of your painting business. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, obviously there was a problem in the market where we were. So my business partner, who actually he originally started the painting company, I
Right.
joined on. I used to be in television. I was in a whole different thing, jumped from television to painting. That's a whole different story. But when
Television.
we
Wait, wait, wait. Were you an actor?
no, 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 no. I
Oh,
was I was a producer. I was behind the
oh,
camera.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. So lots of fun in Toronto in the city. But
Gotcha.
basically, when we rolled out the paint store, it was like, okay, we'll see you slide over there, manage that side of it, kind of push that forward. And the whole original basis of it was the paint that we purchase instead of going to the corporate store and buying there, we're going to purchase through our store, and that will be enough revenue just to kind of float it and just to kind of
Right.
make it consistent.
Right.
Our plan was to ramp up enough that it would be a profitable standalone store in 2 years, and in 9 months we were profitable without our purchases to just have it standalone and be its own business.
Incredible. What are the margins in terms of, you know, like when we look at Sherwin-Williams, okay? I've
Mhm.
been told by Sherwin-Williams they don't make a lot of money on their paint. Okay. Could you see that to be true? Because I think
Depending
they
on
they
how, so Canada, US, probably a little bit of differences. There's and depending on who's buying the paint, right? Like where we're sitting, let's say in the Dulux world, a gallon of Life Master up here is $78 for a gallon. Um, the my paint store buys it somewhere in the range of $35. So selling that to someone who walks in the street and doesn't
yeah,
doesn't have a
great markup.
discount, right? Doesn't, yeah, great markup, right? Like that's pretty good retail markup.
Right.
The what my painting company buys it for technically is actually slightly below what my cost is of of what the paint store
So you buy like your painting business buys paint from your paint store at a small loss.
at a small loss, technically, to what the corporate store would call it. But what happens is then we get a what would you call, like, a commission on that, on selling that Dulux paint
Which
to,
offsets the loss.
which offsets the loss. Yes.
So you only
So
sell paint to your painting business that offers you a commission for selling that paint.
yes, yeah.
That's great.
So how, and then
Who's
but
offering the commission? Dulux
so Dulux corporate is offering that.
on what
So
on a certain product?
on basically it's however, it's whatever we use the most of, so it's every product that they sell to us as the painting company. But how it works is not every product would be sold at a loss. Because I have 6 crews, because we're pounding out houses, our volume is really really high. Standard interior, we're using Life Master, so I get a great price on that, right? I've negotiated with Dulux Corporate, got that brought all the way down. And now, if I go in and buy, let's say, a pail of diamond or something else that I don't use all the time, I'm paying much closer to the regular cost on that kind of thing. Probably similar to what, Joe Blow painter walks in and says, "Hey, I want a gallon of this." That's what he would pay.
All right. I get it. I can see. Okay, so and that makes sense from because these are both your businesses, right? I mean,
Mhm.
obviously you're not going to take too much of a loss on another business.
Yeah.
It's still good to have a little bit of authority over those prices. And
Mhm.
really when it comes to the painting business, the margins are so good that, even at a higher price paint cost, you're still really making good money. But
Yeah.
how about the sundries? What are you doing with those? Because I know there's good markup on those. You've got to be giving yourself cost on sundries, right?
Yes, absolutely. And that's basically how, yeah, that's how we've kind of worked it out. So the building, we're actually in the same building. We threw up a wall in the middle. So we've got, it's really nice because my guys come back to
Danny,
the shop and they're like, "Oh, I need a paintbrush." Before it was, well, okay, maybe on your
go
way
grab one.
home, or maybe, yeah, go to the store, go
Yeah,
grab one,
yeah,
or go to Home Hardware or
right.
whatever and grab one. Now I say, okay, walk around the building, go in the other door and buy it from
Easy.
my other company,
Yeah,
right? So, and then it's moving product in and out. We make a very, very tiny margin on that to, you know, my painting company, but it still works out really, really nice that they're coming here and they're grabbing stuff here instead of giving someone else that money.
unbelievable. I love that, man. I think that is probably the coolest system I've heard. That's why I had to get you on here to hear this story. So, when it comes to, future growth, right?
Mhm.
What is the plan here? Are you now like a committed franchisee? Are you gonna buy a bunch of paint
Yeah,
stores and sell paint now, or are you
we're
gonna
kind
expand
of
the painting business?
it's really interesting. So I would say a year ago, year and a half ago, my goal was to expand the painting business because of where things were at. Our region, a ton of houses are being built because we're between both of the big cities. So it's busy, contractors are busy, people are moving into town, buying new houses, wanting them to be fully painted before they move in. So that was where the goal was. Unfortunately, the way our economy is going, the way our job market is going, it's pretty hard to find employees right now. I've got a good crew of stable guys and that have been with me for a number of years. I probably have, I think, seven that have been with me for at least
Wow.
2 years now. And then, but filling in those other more of the laborer role kind of thing to work alongside them, that kind of thing has been more and more difficult as we've moved on. So the retail has had a really good pull where
Right.
it's easier to make the same profit, right? Because we've got one person in the store, right? Maybe two people at a given time, and they're churning out the paint. It's a much simpler process
Right.
of turning that over instead of, I mean, obviously we're selling the product instead of the service of painting it. We're still
Right.
doing both. But what we're looking at now is actually maybe even maybe today, maybe Monday, we're signing a lease on a place to do our second store.
Wow. Wow. Incredible, man. Incredible. And I don't know, does Dulux operate in the United States? I haven't seen one.
So Dulux is all over the place, not as big in the States. I think Sherwin takes the cake for
Right.
the big player in the States. There's a little bit of Sherwin Williams up here, but it's not even close to what
Yeah, what
Dulux
it
is
is
up
there.
here.
Yeah, and that kind of opens up the opportunity. Like, and I have to say that like a strategic advantage of Sherwin-Williams is really customer service, right? It's they're huge with that, like providing a sales rep, like and also providing financing through Sherwin-Williams Corporation. Like, do they offer you those sorts of resources? Are you required to have a sales rep? Are you required to have like, what does that infrastructure look like?
So we have through Dulux, there is a regional sales rep that basically he does the corporate store. He also does all of
So he
our
works for
individual
corporate, right?
stores.
And
He
then
works for
corporate.
corporate. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Wow.
pretty probably similar to how Sherwin is for you guys up there. And it's interesting because I mean, between Sherwin, Benjamin Moore is a big player here, and Dulux, we've never fully shut down any of them. Like, we're not going to go and burn those bridges.
Right.
Every now and then, the Benjamin Moore guy will walk through the door and say, "Hey, you ready to switch over?" kind of thing. Let's sit down and talk. We have a conversation. We look at the numbers. We play with that. But Dulux has been really good to us over the years. So I'm not going to flip everything over just for a small change.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And when it comes to you generating, business off the street, like how have you been doing that? Is it just walk in? I mean, are you guys like, I mean,
So a little
customers,
like as in the retail store.
yeah, like the
Yeah.
retail store, like not just talking about contractors, like, or like recruiting actual like people to walk in and purchase paint,
Yeah.
retail.
Yeah, absolutely. The we've done a few things with, like, I mean, hockey's big up here, right? Billboard at the
Right.
hockey arena, that kind of thing. I've always been both for the retail store and the painting company, branded vehicles. Big thing that I've always was right off the hop. We've got bright colors on all the vehicles. The My business partner drives a bright blue truck with the Dulux logo on it, kind of
Yeah.
thing, puts that out there. And then a lot of word of mouth has been good. The other, would think the main driver right at the beginning when we opened the store is we also run as a U-Haul distribution spot. So we've got a parking lot here. People drop off and pick up their U-Hauls there, and we run that out of the same front desk. So people come in, they're moving into town, and they go, "Oh yeah, we should paint the place," and
Love
buy a
it.
couple gallons of paint. So that was the partnership with U-Haul was really
Smart.
awesome at the beginning of just kind of getting that roll of people through the
In the
door.
track. When it comes to painting businesses, getting to a place where you're not actually in the paintbrush is a major hurdle for a lot of people. Okay. And it sounds like you were never really a painter. Is that correct?
So I did 1 year working with my business partner as a painter. When I
Okay.
joined up with him, he had himself and one other person, and then sometimes brought on a third one in the summer. We kind of, between the two of us, grew really quickly over the first 2 years that we were working together. And so by the end of the first year, we basically said, okay, we have to push past this
Right.
and get off the tools and make sure that, we're there managing things. So it was a difficult push right at the beginning, but once you
Right.
get off the tools and use your time, managing the jobs, doing the sales,
Right.
that kind of thing, it really makes a big difference.
It does, man. It really does. And look what it opens up the door to. I mean, you're able to not only manage your painting business, you're managing a paint store and it opens up the door and I'm sure you're systemizing that now and
Yeah,
continuing to stay ahead of your businesses and have oversight, I think that's brilliant, man. And what's also really cool is that paint store is also a lead generator, am I right? I mean, you're getting
absolutely.
homeowners coming in and as much as I'm sure you would love to pass the name of competitors out, I'm sure you say, "Hey,
Yeah.
there's this pretty good painting company that we know about that's right next door."
Yeah, so actually it's been really interesting because we kind of did both, in the sense of we never specifically only passed the painting company's name out. Like, the Kessa name was never the only name that went out. It was, well, if we needed a job for 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, if there was something that, it's like, okay, then we put that one on. The person working the till at the retail store would push that a little bit.
Yeah.
But when things were stacked up, or it was a little bit, we also were very big on making sure we were passing out the other names, other painters that came in, to try to make sure that they knew this wasn't all just about
Like a
us and driving
monopoly,
it.
right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
like,
we're
and they know, hey, they also own this painting company, right?
absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it's a small market,
because you
right?
got to
Like,
build relationships with those guys. Like, you
absolutely.
can't just, I think that's really cool, man. And I think, that's big picture. And I don't know what your passion is in terms of kind of like elevating the industry, but it's a very modest way to do business. And I think, you know, um, a painting contractor starting a paint store is a lot like a painting contractor creating a software, my position, right?
Yeah,
I know what people need. You know what painting contractors need. So I'm sure you're kind of tailoring the way you guys operate and do business to what you would have appreciated. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Are you guys doing
Absolutely.
deliveries?
No, we're not, which is something we've talked about and might be kind of an
So
interesting
ready
thing.
for this, man? I thought of this before we talked. I'm like, I'm gonna ask him about this. Okay. You ready for this? This
Yep.
could be a groundbreaker here, man.
Okay. Okay.
I'm about to give you hey, these things just come to me, man. All right. Contact your local Uber. All right. See if Uber will work out a deal, man.
Okay.
All they're doing
Dude.
is delivering. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Dropping out paint. It's actually
Drop it off paint.
one of my buddies does own a delivery company in this area.
Perfect.
But he's pretty busy,
Subcontracted.
but maybe we could drop out. Yeah. Have
Dude,
him
it's a
show up
huge
and
issue, man. Honestly, like no one is doing that. And like, right now the big issue, it's kind of like having people back in the day, man, they had to go pick up the pizza,
yeah. Yeah.
and everyone's going to the paint store. And I feel like if we can incorporate some of those third party, delivery companies to do the deliveries, the contractors will pay. If I
Absolutely.
knew I could pay an Uber driver $10 to save me the labor cost that I'm wasting for having one of my painters go to the paint store.
Absolutely.
I
Well,
mean,
and I
did
mean,
we just
even
groundbreak something here, bro?
yeah, I like that. Even the best guy, even your best, hardest working painter, he's gonna stop and go get a sandwich. He's gonna go stop and get a
Yeah,
coffee, right?
yeah,
He's gonna
yeah.
stop, go to Timmy's,
He's
and
going. Yeah, I mean,
right.
I don't know how long I'm losing him.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, I'll go to the paint store.
Yeah.
He's
Right.
making a
Happens all the
break.
time. Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, we got to go to the paint store. You have 5 gallons. Yeah, I need to go get a brush. What?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we can eliminate that, that'd be cool. But yeah, man, I mean, I think that would be really interesting. I'd love to hear if you come up with something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what about here's another thing I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. One thing I love about Sherwin-Williams, and I know I'm not comparing you to them. Like I know you're probably like, dude, I'm so tired of being compared to like the big companies. Um, because they have so much resources, but I really like online ordering. I
Okay. Yeah.
think online ordering is a game changer. Do you think you'll adjust to that, or does Dulux have plans to help you with that?
So Dulux is it's interesting in that so Sherwin-Williams where you're at, they have like just a full online ordering kind of setup.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it. No, I don't think they
Oh,
have that here.
bro, dude, it's awesome. But
Yeah.
yes, it's a fully mobile online setup. And right now, with our little quote unquote paint shortage, I kind of haven't been using it as much as I like.
Yeah.
But at nighttime, like, dude, I go in, I pick the paint I want. The
And you just
colors
set
are
it up
all
and
loaded
go.
in there.
That's
Yeah, and
cool. I like that. I like
I
that.
hit send.
Even if Dulux corporate wouldn't be, that might be something I might talk to my business partner here. And
Well,
because if we're
what's
running two
interesting?
stores, it's
Yeah,
yeah.
but you can literally probably like it doesn't have to be as fancy as Sherwin-Williams, like where you're
Yeah.
actually like picking the gallon, finding the paint color. They put millions into this app. I'm talking
Yeah.
about you just say, hey guys, go to this app, and it could just literally just be a form of their order that they would normally
Yeah.
call in.
Yeah.
Like that's what I do, bro. Right now, I'm texting the manager of
Yeah.
Sherwin-Williams because I can't order it through the app because
Gotcha.
the
And that's
inventory is
how.
all over the place.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. And that's how basically how I'm doing it here is it's an
Like they're
email
texting you
because
or
then
email.
there's an email. Yeah. Because then there's a trace of what, like, what did I order
What
the
did you
right
say?
white? Hmm?
Yeah, it's like he said, she said.
That's exactly. Yeah. Because over the phone, it's just not good. I even do that
Yeah.
in my own building to the other paint store that's across this wall. I'll send an email because
Just so
it's just
there's a
recorded and
thing.
then it's done. Right.
You don't let them call in orders, huh?
Hmm? No, no, I do all the paint ordering.
So how like if I call you at your store, you'll say, hey, just send an email here.
Hmm? Yeah. Like for my guys, like for, oh, no,
No. I'm
no, for
saying it's like a
customers there.
contractor.
Oh, no, no, they do call in orders there. Yeah, I'm just saying
Okay.
as the paint company
Yeah.
internally ourselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Now you can work up a quick app tonight, dude.
that's cool. That's a good
So
idea. I
easy,
like
man.
that.
But yeah, that's cool, man. But it's really helpful for me because I like thinking before I like at night I'll be like, all right, now I got to order the paint for tomorrow,
Yeah,
and it's just it's so convenient.
yeah, that makes it
Yeah.
easy.
Interesting,
That's
man.
cool.
Interesting. I love it. Maybe next year you'll have 5 stores and
Yeah,
you'll be or let me ask you this. Do you feel like you'll ever sell your painting business or get out of that? I mean, do you enjoy
possibly.
the retail side is more?
I think the retail side has more expandability, has more future options for that. I'm not going to be, well, I'm mid to late 30s now, but right, I'm not going to be the young buck in the industry all the time. I don't want to be 60 and chasing my guys around and slugging pails of paint, right?
Right.
So it's always actually been part of the process for my business partner and I to get the painting company to a point where we can kind of uh, have some of the painters come up from, starting right on a brush, starting as that laborer position, move up, get up into that middle management, and then into like the sales position, into the management position, and find the right guys to kind of come up and attack that and basically push me out of the top. Right. If
Right.
there's if they can do what I'm doing, and I'll pay them, handsomely for what they can do, absolutely love it. And if they can push me out, and then I can have more time to, pop open another paint store, do something else, develop an app, right? That kind of thing.
Right.
I'm not going to sit idle. I'm going to use my time to do more things, right?
Right.
So if we can get to a point where I can pull someone up to help get me out at the top, absolutely, done and done.
Wow. Wow. I love the story, man. I love the mission. And I think it's definitely inspiring to just see things from that perspective, man. That's why I had you here. But I think, man, I think that's enough for us today to
Cool.
digest. And I'd love to have you back, man. I really want to hear how you progress in this area. And I think it opened up my eyes to just how awesome it would be to have both. It's almost like if you owned a restaurant and also owned the food distributing company, I mean, it's just nice to have that level of authority when it comes to your pricing, your process, and just also not only that, just being able to serve the local community from that perspective, man. I bet everyone's
Absolutely.
very appreciative. Yeah, Luke, a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, yes, sir. We'll talk soon.
Yep. Talk to you.
Dripjobs CRM is finally here. That's right. So, Dripjobs is an automation platform for contractors, home service professionals that's going to automatically follow up with your customers. It's going to allow you to send invoices, estimates. It's going to allow you to send out blast marketing emails to individuals based on where they are in the buying process. This software is next level. And I'm reaching out to you. You're a listener of this podcast, and I want you to be one of the first ones to give it a shot. So if you want to see what Dripjobs can do for your business, I'd love for you to head over to dripjobs.com, sign up for a free demo, and get your team involved, and let us sit with you and show you how powerful this software is. It's going to save you time, it's going to make you money, and you're going to love the features that are built into Dripjobs. So if you want to check it out, head over to dripjobs.com. And we will give you first priority being a podcast listener to be one of the very first to try out Dripjobs in your home service business. I'm super excited to share that with you, and I'll catch you on the next episode.